Committee Chairman Devin Nunes. Chairman, good to see you tonight. Thank you very much for being here. So there is a lot, obviously, this evening to tackle. But first to Catherine's report from the Inspector General on Mr. McCabe, who was fired. We now know a little bit more about the nature of the leaks here. What did you learn from this report tonight?
Well, I have to congratulate Michael Horowitz for finally finding one of the leakers. We've been looking. We've known for a long time that too much information is getting out from the FBI and the Department of Justice. So I congratulate DOJ and the FBI, Mike Horowitz, tonight, because finally one of the leakers were found. It just happens to be somebody who was right at the top, and there's many more leakers to find.
It's very interesting when you go through this report and you read a number of the subject lines are reports in the Wall Street Journal, and then it breaks down exactly what was leaked to the Wall Street Journal and what the Inspector General found. It says, according to a person familiar with the probes, on August 12th, a senior Justice Department official called Mr. McCabe to voice his displeasure at finding that New York FBI agents were still openly pursuing the Clinton Foundation probe during the election season. Now it turns out that McCabe is basically talking about himself here. He's the person who was familiar with the story, who calls to talk about himself, right?
Yeah, that's what it appears like, and it's really scary when you actually put together the text that were going back and forth between Page and Strzok and all the people that were involved in this. So Page makes another appearance in this IG report. She's also at the front and center of some of the abuses that we're looking at in the investigation of the Trump campaign.
Yeah, Lisa Page is the person, as you point out, whose name has surfaced in these texts, which were very derogatory about the president. Now it turns out, according to this report, she's also the one who was empowered by Andrew McCabe to leak these stories on his behalf to the Wall Street Journal, correct? That's right. And when you look at the text messages, it almost looks like the Wall Street Journal reporter and many of those people are friends.
So, I mean, maybe not. It's hard to read. You don't want to read too much out of a text, but it looks like they were pretty close.
Yeah. I want to go to James Comey's book and a letter that you wrote today to Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General. You are asking, and you've been pressing him for a lot of things, a lot of more, fuller disclosure throughout the entire process here. But you are asking him for the memos that James Comey wrote after his meetings with the president and in other parts of this investigation. How do you expect that you're going to receive those? And Rod Rosenstein, as we all know, is in a tenuous position as Attorney Deputy General at the moment. What response have you gotten, if any, so far?
The letter just went out this evening, and it's from Chairman Goodlatte, Chairman Gowdy, and myself. We've had some access to them on the House Intelligence Committee in limited form. However, now that at least the excerpts of the book are out, and it appears like there's much in the book that comes from the memos. So they were already leaked to the New York Times. They should be made available not just to all the key congressional committees, but they also should be made available to the public. And that's what the letter that the three of us sent tonight is asking for, and they have till Monday to get those to us. I think they will get them to us.
In terms of Rod Rosenstein, I'm just curious what your thoughts are. The reporting out of the White House tonight is that the president is not going to fire him imminently. There's also reports that he says that he's ready to be fired if that's what's coming his way. What do you think should happen to Rod Rosenstein?
Well, look, I like Rod Rosenstein and Christopher Wray, the new director of the FBI. They inherited a mess. They inherited a big mess. They inherited something that happened in the campaign where they used the counterintelligence capabilities of our country to target the Trump campaign. They came into this. You had the Director Comey was fired, rightfully fired. I think we're finding out now by just his behavior that he's exhibiting recently with his newfound book tour. So, I give them some credit and some leeway that they need to find their way. However, I think it is utmost importance that Mr. Rosenstein and Director Wray provide everything to Congress as soon as possible. That is the best possible thing that they could do. And I think it can set us on a path where the legislative branch of government, our branch, can actually let us do our job to try to put this all together. Secondly, I would say that I just think it's going to be impossible for the investigators to investigate themselves. And I've been saying this for many, many months. So, I don't know that it has to be a special counsel. I know that they have a couple U.S. attorneys looking at some of this, but at the end of the day, there's going to have to be some process put in place because there's a lot of cleanup that has to be done.
In terms of the news that also is breaking tonight with regard to Michael Cohen, that the warrant that was served at his offices, his hotel, we now know it was his safety deposit boxes. There's also information that they got some recordings as a result of this. Rod Rosenstein had to sign off on that. Do you think that was a bridge too far for his jurisdiction overseeing the Russia investigation?
Well, you're now asking me to do some major speculation, which I'll gladly do, but I want to caveat it with that. This is a major, major deal. I think a lot of people don't understand how big this is to allow someone to be searched like that. So I will only say this. Whatever they have on Mr. Cohen, it better be something really, really big to take this unusual circumstance. If it ends up being something minor, like what we've seen so far, something not even related to Russia collusion, as you've seen in some of the indictments so far in the Mueller investigation, I know they're saying that it's criminal. I don't know what it possibly could be, but it's a bad precedent to set, so it better be something big.
I mean, they're also indicating, at least, I mean, as you say, we're just kind of reading tea leaves at this point, but they're also indicating that this is really connected to his personal finances. So, the separation between these two things, it may be larger than it first appeared. And then, as you point out, it does become a question of why there was any connection whatsoever with Rod Rosenstein and the signing off on this warrant.
Well, and I've always said this, when they opened the special counsel, I first supported it because I thought, okay, well, there's some felony leaks that occurred. Right. We knew that the leaking of General Flynn's phone call with the Russian ambassador was a felony leak at the highest level of our government. So I thought, okay, there's definitely a crime there that they can go and look at. And then look, I didn't think they were going to find any collusion. I still don't think they found any collusion. We haven't found any evidence of the Trump campaign colluding with the Russians. We did find evidence of the Clinton campaign colluding with the Russians. So I thought, okay, look, they'll get to these felonies, they'll quickly clear the Trump campaign, and we'll be past that. But what you're seeing now is it just looks like it's an investigation in search of a crime. So the Mueller team has now thrown this off to another jurisdiction. And like I said, it better be something big, or else I think this is going to be a bad time in our country's history.
Chairman Nunes, thank you very much, sir. Good to see you tonight, as always. Thank you.
Thank you.